All right, are we recording? I think so. I'm running out of tea though. Well, we'll see if we can make it to the end. With what little tea we have, may the gods help us. Anyway, welcome to another video. This is something we haven't done in a while. An actual game review. Like, who would have thought? And not just any game review. This is something that happens way too often in my games where I misclick because I'm a moron and just can't click at the right spot that I'm supposed to be, that I'm thinking of. I don't know. I didn't play enough video games as a kid, like hand-eye coordination, very difficult. But anyway, I misclick, and that misclick is a move that's valid, and perhaps in some circles you could call it like an overplay, and leads to some sort of giant fight because just of how unreasonable it is, and it has to result in murder. And this game is no different. There will be a murder by the end of it. So we're calling this, I could make this into a whole series, I'm sure. I know I have enough misclick games to call this Misclick Murder. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So in this game, I am black. Nope, keyboard's not working. Why doesn't keyboard work here? Arrow? There we go. Okay, I am black, and it's against it's a Fordon on OGS. So I do occasionally play on OGS. Again, I play more on my like ranked games on the Asian servers, but I don't know. OGS is doing lots of things right. So, and they're building a bigger and bigger player base. So that's really exciting. I really like the fact they have AI integration. Although I wish they could go another whole level with that. Anyway, besides the point, OGS is great if you have no Go server to play and you speak English and want to play against mostly Westerners. OGS is a great server. Go check it out. Anyway, so I'm black, and the other thing I've been doing, I've been really liking cross games, which makes me feel a little devilish. Like, this is not my normal historical taste, but I've just been really liking cross games, so here we are, playing a cross game. And I play basically the biggest side of the board, if you can call it that on a very abstract level. You guys can see that we've got 10 spaces here, 10 spaces here, and we have 11 spaces. Let me change my color on this side and this side. But the top side, both stones are on the fourth line, right? So that's a little bit more ambitious. So that's the quote-unquote biggest side from your absolute Go theory. If you've never heard that before, welcome. Yeah, you just learned something. Anyway, my opponent plays this, which is a great move, like super solid. I treat it as slow, and this is a very sort of modern approach to playing the game. It's totally valid, and I just take a Tanuki, and I just build my own corner. Totally fine, totally valid. I've been playing a 3-4 approach at once in Tanuki also a lot. That's just been a thing I've been exploring and really enjoying and having a lot of success with. So I've just continued doing it. The robots think it's fine, so, take it what you are. Take it as you will. And my opponent leans, and so right now I should, proper, in terms of proper move, I should play here. Or there's even this move, too, as well, where you invite the cut to take more of the outside. And I like both of those, but, again, I'm playing very fast Go, and my opponent already has 3 stones here, so I do not want to provoke my opponent where he is strongest. And so I'm going to keep Tanukiing, and I take this corner. And my opponent blocks the correct way. I know that's a weird thing to say because this board is so open, but as far as we can tell, that seems to be the correct direction, given this corner formation down here and this formation over here. And then my opponent, he can Tanuki here. He plays this one. And I make a small mistake. There's a couple of Josekis here. When black just really wants to settle the corner, black should respond here. This is the natural move. This is the move that most of you would play. The other choice is this one. And you play this one when you want to maybe have a little more potential on the outside, especially at the bottom, which is what I want here because of the Shimari. But this one actually is unlikely to result in Sente. You'll see. We'll compare the results, but here I'll show you the game first. White gets this Atari and then can Tanuki here, and this corner is very unsettled. So in the game, white, Tanuki's all the way to that corner. Black can take back this corner and a ko. If you've never seen this before, this is a big point move basically. But I'm already kind of solid. White, while there's not a guaranteed 2 eyes, white has enough liberties and has a giant wall to use to live. So white's not in any trouble. You especially want to play this as black if you know you can attack this wall. I do not, at least at this point. So what I should do is I should play here. My opponent should play here. I should probably take this Atari and play this way. And my opponent has a couple choices here. If it goes something like this, or I guess my opponent has a ladder, so maybe just ladder is better. Yeah, let's assume ladder is better. White has complete control of the outside, but I do get a settled corner, and I have Sente. So that's kind of what I'm choosing between. Do I want to have my opponent have more strength on the outside, and me to be even more settled, and I gain Sente, or do I want to keep a little bit more negotiation happening? And in this game, I keep a little more negotiation for White's strength, but the robots, I looked this up, the robots do seem to imply that this is the wrong choice. So a very subtle thing. Again, you're not going to run into this unless you get to a pretty high level. If you're a Q player and you can play either one of these, gold star, keep on doing what you're doing, and you'll do fine. So anyway, white plays this way. We block this way. And at this moment, I make a sort of a series of small mistakes here. None of them are terrible, and actually my opponent makes an even bigger mistake that makes them all great. But at this point, I should actually Tanuki, and this is a good time to move this stone out. If my opponent takes the time to do this, there's even this is a good exchange for white normally, but by settling the position, it makes it so I can kind of just focus my attention on whatever it is I need to take. This 2-stone doesn't really actually attack this at all. So, why is white building this if it's not going to be aggressive or useful against attacking? I play here, which is okay. My opponent responds here. Again, this is just like we did down here, except this is the one to take the corner. And I play here. This is good, except my opponent should absolutely take this move and do this and leave this stone as Aji for a ladder break or peep or whatever, or and can now come back and finish off the top left. Opponent does not do that. And by connecting here, I can just connect directly, and I don't have this Aji to deal with. Or when it is time to deal with it, I can deal with it actually in several different ways. And so when my opponent plays here, I respond. Again, even at this moment, this is a fine time. I can still come back and play. This is everything we're doing is sort of fighting over the last move, or who gets Sente to come out from the last move to come back and move out this top area. But it doesn't matter, even if I do respond like this, this is also very good, and my opponent comes back and does take the last quote-unquote big move on this board. I want you to notice that there is a white stone here that is normally not there. White will just usually leave that dangling. And so basically white played here for this move is kind of how, if you want to think of it that way. I know those weren't direct exchanges if you're doing the Tewari analysis, but it's kind of like white exchange. In the end, that's kind of what happened. White exchanged this for this. And I ask you, who is that good for? And the answer is black. So even though white took the Joseki that gets him Sente, the thing that I probably should have done in this corner, so white kind of chooses the right one, by allowing this formation, I get a little bit too strong of an outside. And so I have a lead here. Even though I kind of lose a big left-hand corner, I kind of already have a big left-hand corner. This is all negotiable. These two walls are facing each other, which means whoever has the next move is going to project a lot of potential on the right-hand side of the board. Right, this black area all wants to develop this way. Meanwhile, this white area all wants to develop this way, so who's going to get there first? Well, if white spent Sente to get this top left-hand corner, that's totally me, and I am super happy about it because I get to play all the way to there. And you can already tell, like, this wall actually starts to feel a little uncomfortable already. Like, even though it's a lot of liberties, black's solid down here, it is low, black's not getting a lot, but this corner is not at all eye-shaped yet. Like, there's no, like, black can come in here and fight this ko. So this territory, I shouldn't even call it territory, this moyu at the right should develop into territory pretty easily as long as white is uncomfortable. So black is super happy. So I'm having a great game, like in my own head. Like, I felt really happy here. And, you know, of course I'm sad about this whole top left. This is huge, right? We're talking a 20-point plus kind of corner, although there's still some tricks that black has later to reduce it. You know, white gets 20 points there. You know, another, let's say 10, let's round up there with the capture stone there, 30 plus Komi. You know, white is looking at like a 35-ish point game, and that's fine. Like, I'm happy. Like, if white gets only 35 points, white has to find something else to develop. So again, white plays here. Again, this is the source of white's discomfort. You can see that this little stone, it's so far away from its wall, but it still feels for white to deal with, like, just real nasty. I peep. This move, the robot says, is a mistake. That's fine. I mean, it does hurt the threat of the ko later on, like it is eating some of the aji. I thought it was a good exchange just in terms of building up this and annoying this wall even more, but I don't really need to do it right now, so it's probably bad timing. I did think that white would even contemplate just trying to build a little base in here, and this kind of forestalls it a little bit or makes it more awkward. But again, if white's building a tiny base next to his biggest wall on the board, I should be ecstatic and not asking for too much more than that. All right, so make that exchange and I play here. This move is very good. This move starts to fulfill the promise of this Joseki that I chose that took the outside, because now I have a Shimari, this corner enclosure, facing some real potential, right? There's a nice 15 to 20 points just waiting here for me now. White pushes, that's fine. And I play this move. In the game, this felt real sketchy, but I read it out and was like, this seems fine. Like, white feels under duress, so let's apply more pressure. Whenever I go up to that fifth line, especially with a Hane or a move that leaves a cut, it feels real bad, right? Because it's like, the fifth line is very hard to defend. But the robot agreed with me in review. Like, this is the proper move to actually keep pressure on. White plays here. Next move, however, I wasn't so aggressive. I just said, okay, fifth line. I can be satisfied with fifth line, right? Everybody should be fine with me taking fifth line. The robot actually says, no. You go up to the sixth line. You know, tonight we dance. And if you read this out, you can see it actually works. Like, white has a really hard time making use of any of this aji. If we just play the most blunt variations, you can see how well it doesn't work for white. There is this, which is perhaps, the most, I don't know, danger in looking sequence. But remember, black always has a ko, right, if this gets ever too dangerous. And second, this is a really hard group for white to live with, just period. And I know 5 liberties isn't a lot, but 5 liberties plus a huge ko is going to be plenty if needed. So anyway, this is totally playable. This is a little bit of a slack move. And white takes advantage of that to play over here. Now, alternatively from any of this, after this move, I think the robot really likes white just playing here. And this is a very nice balancing move. Like, it's one of those moves you feel bad to play during a game because it feels so wishy-washy. You're not getting much, right? Like, we're not really making inroads into reducing black. We're not really getting eye space. We're certainly not going to take a lot of territory there. So what is this move really getting us? Well, not much of any of those, but it's enough of a few little things, and it keeps us as white. It keeps white strong enough to fight or invade or do, you know, more crazy things down here later. And so it's you know, it's one of those almost, it's like a move you can either spend a really long time reading out, or just have enough Go experience to know that, oh yeah, I should be a little bit stronger so I can make a mess later. And we make these exchanges, and he plays this normal type reduction sequence. This is all very expected. White's going to try to invade here, and this game is going to be about how well this invasion goes at this moment. Remember, White already has most of the cash that White's going to get for this entire game. Like, it's very hard for White to seriously develop a lot more points on this board. Maybe there's another 10 points there, another 15 points on this side. But beyond that, the rest of it is pretty black. It's going to be a black board, influential board. So we play here and here, and White plays there to make some shape. That's very nice. I play the move that the robot likes. Overall, this was a very good game for me. I'm partially showing it to you just because, with the exception of a few of these little, like, Joseki choices, like down here that I already showed you, and this little missed Hane opportunity. My game, and then we're going to talk about the Misclick. The Misclick is coming. Don't worry. This was a very good game for me. So I was psyched to achieve such a high percentage of robot approved moves. So I'm excited. Okay. Anyway, let me explain this. First of all, turning is just always a really good shape move. When you can turn and bend around your opponent, it gives you a lot of liberties. It shortens your opponent's liberties. And this move, not only is it making this area a little bit stronger, it's really having a very negative effect on this White group. If White wants to run and expand this way, if I get to Atari and jump, White's going to feel under duress very quickly. And if I get center strength, that's going to be super easy to build this right-hand side. So that's all the things that this move is starting to do over here. And it's also making sure this group is disconnected from everything. This move is actually applying pressure at a little bit of a distance from this weak group. So it's a move it's one of those little moves that does a lot of things. It's a little bit like that one, right, for White, where this one kind of balances a whole bunch of little things that need to be done, a little bit of cleaning. This one kind of does the same. All right, so White jumps out here to just get out and make shape. And my move is a Misclick. Oh, no, it's not. Is it a Misclick? Is this the No, sorry, it's the next. It's the, this move, no, not the Misclick yet, never mind. Got way ahead of myself. Way ahead of myself. Okay, I take this Atari. This is probably not the best timing. I should probably continue over here, but it's still a really big move, right? Again, White, even though it's a giant stick, has lots of liberties, is feeling a little bit nervous, right? Like, I can get a couple more free moves here at some point if White does not respond to any of these. White now plays this balancing move, and I should not play here. I think I should leave this and then come back to attack this side. I've gotten even stronger over here, so I need to make this move worthwhile. Like, I got to play this move for free, quote unquote, right? White responded. White got to play this move for free because didn't respond over here. So we're each sort of taking our free stuff, and what's more valuable to attack, these two stones or this whole group? And it's probably the whole group. So this is a little bit slack. But then White plays another move to sort of do more of the same to control some of the influence in the center. However, this move is not nearly as effective after this exchange. After I have these two stones, especially with that one too, right? Making a base over here, if I get into trouble, if I get cut, is not that hard. Never mind the giant wall there to reinforce it. So one of these moves for White, very good, very needed. The second move for White it's a form of over-concentration, right, where we should have turned our attention back to the left-hand side. So going back here, returning to the game. Oh yeah, make this. Yeah, I'm getting distracted over here, right? I should continue with this group. This move looks very close to the White strength, but because I have a stone on the inside, I actually have a little bit more Aji in play to make use of it. And White just defends, like, solidly. Like, no, my 20 points, nothing. You get nothing. So again, this is a good exchange for Black. I'm happy to have gotten that in. And now we start the attack. And what I'm really hoping for, right, now that I have this center influence, I know White can't build anything over here and can't really connect. So again, White has managed to keep the, let's say, 35-ish points that White has had. White is not developing any more points for that matter. And assuming this attack just runs straight out and I make 25 points in the bottom left, and I make, I don't know, let's say 5 points here, and that's already puts me at 30 points. All I need to do is find 10 points over here. and be ahead. So this attack feels real good. Like white has to run. I'm going to build all this territory just real naturally. And it's an easy game for black. Like it goes really funny. Like it's hard when you're a new player and you don't know how to evaluate anything. Like you just can't tell like what something is worth or what, how liable a weak group is on the board. But I'm already looking at this board and feeling like I don't know what for white. Like if white wants to do anything, white has to work super hard at it. Like even let's say white was totally alive down here and didn't need to respond at all. Even for white to take another 10 points at the top, that is hard, right? Like the stone just runs away, right? What territory can you really expect here for white? Like you have to now connect maybe, but if you do that, like black connects too, like and now the stone's like anyway. It's so hard for white to find more points. And if white comes over here right now, right, this group's going to get eaten, and now this is a huge chunk of territory, right? White might say, aha, I can find another 20 points there. And I go, aha, I found another 30 points there, right? So if you can think in terms of these sort of logic sequences, like, oh, if I take this, then I'll get this. If my opponent takes this, I'll get this. You can sort of do that with territory and figure out what, who's winning, what the score is, what the natural flow of the game is going to be. A lot of professionals and people who do a lot of thinking about Go at a high level, they talk about the stones flowing like water. And this is what we're just figuring out. We're just figuring out, where is all that water going to flow to? So anyway, white jumps here, and this is misclick time. This is now finally I brought you to the misclick of the moment. First, let me show you the move I wanted to play, which is here. And this is totally in accordance with my plan. White's still weak over here. This is still under attack. I have lots of ways to annoy this. If white has to jump out again, I can just continue building territory. Maybe there. Maybe I can even just play here again and try to get one more move and then take a really big territory. Of course, now this move might be kind of worth it. White might be able to get some compensation here with all this extra strength. But man, look at that 35 points that I just totally slammed down. Almost 40 points, actually. It's probably closer to 40 than it is 35 because the end game over here. But yeah, that's just all of white's territory, right? Just in one block here. Never mind what I'm going to get on the right or anything else at the bottom, which I can still make 10, 15 points at the bottom if I work at it, if I really want to. Okay. So that's what I thought would happen, right? Sounds good. But I played here. And this move, like I went with it, right? Like this is we already sort of talked about my hesitancy on the fifth line and all the problems thereof. This move has even more problems, right? Than compared to this one at bottom was totally fine. Like I had backup. I'm entitled to play the fifth line and higher. Over here I don't, right? There's going to be cuts. This area is actually developable for white. White already has these stones here, so for these stones to reach out and build territory this way, very easy, very natural. It's easy points for white. But here's the nice thing. The robots actually don't mind this move. It's not their favorite. It's definitely not their favorite. But they're like, all right, especially if after a move or two, black is going to be able to come back and sort of recorrect course. But my opponent doesn't allow that at all. And so I sort of play this quasi-unreasonable move. I guess it's not the right way to say it. It's definitely a misclick, let's put it that way. Definitely not my intention. It's not unreasonable in the context of the game. Like, it's still attacking. It's still doing what I need to do most importantly. But man, am I now, instead of just staying strong and taking my advantage and cashing it in, I am putting my foot on the gas pedal a little bit too hard. And so there's a much higher danger of me crashing at this point. So fun, right? So now we get to misclick murder. So there's a couple options here. I think I didn't look at this for too long. I think the robot thinks the best one is here is just play the move I originally intended. Just totally forget that I misclicked and just recorrect course. So keep that in mind. That's what the robot wants me to do. But no, this is misclick murder. This is foot on the gas. Let's go. So we're going to surround. And so we try. White plays here. We play this cut. This is all very natural. And this next move is a mistake. I play down here. I do not need to play down here. My thinking is that white has all these free moves down here to annoy this. And if white has all these free moves, I'm never going to be able to counterattack this. So I'm like, oh, let's take this first. And then if white drives me this way as this group runs, then I'll be able to counterattack these two stones. But that's kind of erroneous thinking. If I just, on the other hand, help these two stones out like this, then I'm never going to get counterattacked here. And yeah, white can take some free moves, but how useful is this really? Like, I shouldn't be so concerned. And this is maybe just one of those Go's faults, right? Where going back to here, I've already read in my mind that I'm entitled to 25 to 30 points over here. And so when my opponent disagrees with that, it's hard for my brain to suddenly switch course and go, oh, right, those are not my points anymore. So we don't think of them as such. Anyway, we do this, and my opponent, of course, cuts. Now, I'm still totally fine. This is still a great position for black. Maybe not, like, as good, but black is still okay. White still has problems. And white has an especially large problem after white plays this move. White goes balls out. This is just misclick murder time. Someone overplayed, let's find out. This is not a good move for white. White should really instead do something over here to fix this shape, maybe even that. I don't quite remember what the robot had suggested, but something over here is the patient correct way of playing. But my opponent plays here, and this move presents some opportunities for me that I really didn't consider. So I have a blind spot here. So this was one of the parts of the game that I really made a, I don't want to call it a game-losing mistake because it wasn't, but it like this section this section is still going to work out. But here, I didn't realize how crippling this cut is. And of course, you're looking at it like, of course you cut there. Like that's like the bestest Q Atari in the entire world. But I'm staring at the game and I'm like, I'm not sure what happens after that point. Because I'm just like, I'm really short on liberties. I just need more liberties and then I'll come back and cut, which is why I sort of ended up playing here. But totally wrong. Because in the end, I can actually give up these 4 stones if I get to push through here. So perhaps even better than playing this right now is to just push. And I can do this because I played this move. Right? If I didn't play this move, this wouldn't necessarily have been an option. But this is actually how I get value from this bad move I played. I thought I was going to get value by coming around and attacking these 3 stones. But the other thing this move does is it basically makes these 2 stones okay to push through. And I know that intuitively, like I can see that now, but I didn't realize it enough at the time. And so if you're still wondering why this is so good, if white blocks here, now I can take this and I have some very devious options. Number one, and I think they all kind of start with this move. This move is just killer. Can you see it? Like how bad things just got for white? Because if you see that, let's get out the pen. So these 2 stones are in trouble, right? One move and they're laddered to death. These 2 stones not in trouble yet, but if I take this Atari, then they get laddered to death, right? So just to let me put some actual stones on the board. If white covers here, this is, just game over, right? Just laddered to death. Boom, boom, boom. Oops. No, don't go all the way there. Sorry. Spoiler alert. Oops. I want to go there. So, there's no way white can actually hang on to these 2 stones and have time to play this. This is done. Like, there's just nothing here. Maybe the best white can do is play something like this. But now yeah, even if like I give up these 4 stones, which I really didn't consider in the game, or at least I definitely didn't consider enough. Look at what white gained versus what black gained. Right? And these are not, my stones aren't even dead yet. Like, white still has to work to kill them. So, and granted, you could make the argument, like, I have to work hard a little bit to kill white, but really not that much. If white plays one move, I play one move, and it's still totally dead. Like, white has no hope for resurrecting this. This is giant territory. Like, this is just massive. And where's white going to find that many points? This is big, but I'm already undercut a little bit, and there's still a little bit of Aji here. What if we do here? What if we score this? What is this? 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's about 45 points for white. And if we compare that to this, let's see, let's do the half of a rectangle scoring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 10, 90, 45. So this is over 45, maybe 50 points. That's pretty good, because I haven't even counted anything on the right yet. So, and I still have some Aji, I can still reduce this a little bit more. Yes. So, okay. So anyway, I fight on. I'm like, I just need more liberties. We're gonna fight this. There's no way white can make do here. This move for white is real ambitious. I don't really take advantage of it very easily. This move's okay, but I don't play the follow-up right. What I need to do for a follow-up is cross-cut. And the move that I kept reading was this one. And this one isn't as... It's very likely to short my own liberties here, right? If let's say there's a sequence, even that I think is fine. Although I didn't actually read any of this out. Just you can see I'm already working down with 3 liberties with all this sequence stuff. This crosscut works a little bit more violently and directly, and I don't. White has fewer opportunities to take advantage, right, of any shortage of liberties. You know, there's a very simple sequence. So anyway, I play here because again I'm still trying to get this one to work, but it's really just I should just crosscut. And instead of here, I should probably play this one. I'm still making the same mistake, and then I'm not recognizing enough value on either of these cuts. And so when I play here, white has to play here, I get to play here. And now all these cuts sort of light up again. If white takes time to do this, we just end up with the same problem that white just had. And boom, done. Toast. All right, we just capture that in a ladder. So I'm just total failing to see the most violent things I can do on this board. And when I'm teaching students how to read at Go, the thing that I tell you is when you're choosing your reading candidates, the first thing you read is the most violent move you can think of. Right? What's the most damaging thing you can find? And you have to usually cut or kill something and read that out. And if it works for you, just play that. I'm much too concerned with, this shape and maybe finding a way to use that stone's Aji and maybe thinking of a way to link up here or short the liberties on these. Like I'm working way too hard at all this little stuff. But I really do need to keep my eyes on the prize, which is this cut or this cut. These are the more violent ones. This splits white directly into 2. So I pull back, which is threatening. This is very unfortunate. This is so much worse of a shape than just making this exchange and pulling out. Like it hurts me now that I didn't play this way in the game, because this is like what do you do if you play there? You're dead. Like whatever. It's just asking white, fix one side, whichever side you want. Like, be my guest. Whichever one you don't fix, I'm killing you on the other one. It's so direct, so easy. I chose a much more difficult path in life. So I squirmed to the stone. I was like, oh, all I need is liberties, and then I can come back and cut and force some sort of capturing race, right? Right? That's all I need. And it's still, I should, yeah, this is embarrassing, I think. So I'm just getting more liberties, and this is still Sente white. If white wants to cut me or not let me connect, white still has to defend. And now we come back and we play this. But instead of being able to kill these 2 stones directly, I should still play this one, actually, as it turns out. Like, this is still the move I should find. But remember this sequence where I got to play this move for free, right? When I Atari there and come out for free, that would have just, you can just see how well it works, right? And now it's so much more awkward. So I play this one, just taking away the shape point, and I'm like, okay, we're going to a giant capturing race, because this is Misclick murder, and there is no other way out of this house. White makes that exchange, Here, the robot says, I forgot the robot. The robot says to do something else. This move is fine. It still kind of works, but it's hard. They're both hard, actually, is the... like, all answers here are hard. White is really struggling to find I shape or liberties, preferably I space though. And then here, white makes a mistake. White should play here. And at this point, there's a really cool Tetsuji for the best move for black to short liberties and take away I shape. Do you know what it is? Do you know? Anyone say that one? Weird, right? Like, this one just works. Like, it feels so bad. But it totally works. And you just sort of undercut this way. And white can never make an I here, because it can be falsified there or there. So anyway, that was not the game. When I played here, white played here. And so immediately I should take this. I played a move first and then played this. But this is, again, just a good exchange to spoil the I space. I play this one first. I don't think it really matters. But it does make... Well, let's say white didn't play quite perfectly here, because now after this I can throw in here and Atari that, and you can see white still has no eyes and really didn't gain much in terms of liberties. So white's going to try, so we just lean on. The rest of this is actually pretty Q-style reading. You can see at this point, even if, let's say, those exchanges all get made, black has exactly 7 liberties, and white only has 6. And it's black's move anyway, so I think, isn't it? No, it's white's move. But still, it's black wins by a liberty. And so my opponent resigned here. And some of you might be saying, hey, but there's a thing there. This actually doesn't matter. This gets you. White played 1 move to gain 1 liberty, so that's not. It doesn't change anything, right? White still has 4, 5, 6. But then you say, oh, but white can make an I. No, I mean, yes, but it doesn't change anything, because if you want this I, I don't know, does this matter? I think they're the same. I think this one's better to play first, actually. I'm not sure why. Just intuitively, it feels that way to me. They're the exact same, right? Just a half-point ko. So you can say, oh, but white has a ko thing, but black doesn't have to play a double ko, right? If we start this, let's see, we needed 7 moves for black to die. Black plays here, there's 2, you fill in, there's 3, 4, 4, there you go. So I guess there is like a, how many, 3-step, multi-step ko? That's like, you can't win a 3-step, multi-step ko. Like, there's just not enough threats anywhere. I'd have to ignore 3 other moves, or my opponent would have to ignore 3 other moves on this board, especially since there's still actually some local threats of things to do. So, yeah, pretty hopeless. So anyway, Misclick Mayhem, or not Misclick, Misclick Murder worked in my favor today. It doesn't always. But this huge fight that should have really never happened. It should have just been a really clean attack. Right, that looked like this. That's all I wanted. That's all I would have asked for. Maybe white plays there now, and we still have this weird. We have another fight. We still fight, but this is so much more comfortable a position for me to fight in. I'm already around the top of white. I'm further away from the edge of the board. If white wants to cut me, it's real hard. Like this is like what's white's move to cut over here? You're gonna leave this defect right in the middle of it. Like this is not difficult for black to get out and keep the pressure on. And in the meantime, again, made 25 points in the bottom left. So, and oh yeah, I have some dirty moves here later too. Well, maybe they're not that dirty. This move looks dirty. Is it dirty though? Let's look. All right. Well, we know this way. Yeah, maybe not quite so dirty. Still difficult. Still difficult. Play here. If so, that'd be dirty. I think I can. Oh, okay. Oh, no. I can't because this, whoops, I lost it. Lost the variation. Anyway, all right, sorry. That was me just having dreams all by myself. Okay, anyway, moral of the story is Misclick murder still worked out. But oh man, you play slightly unreasonable moves and make the game really exciting, and whew, like I didn't know if I was actually gonna live or not. Like I definitely had a little bit of fear. So anyway, if you enjoyed this game review, please leave a like, a comment, subscribe, ding the bell, all the things. Let's do all the YouTube things, and I'll see you next time in the next one. Thanks for watching.